You know, people say there's no time like the present. Well, there's no present like time. And this time it is time to listen to 250 Reasons to Stay Indoors, where there will be spoilers, swearing, and opinions. Have fun, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello and welcome to 250 Reasons to Stay Indoors. I'm Jordan.
I'm Keiran.
And this is the podcast where we watch the IMDb top 250 films. We tell you whether it's worth staying indoors for or if you should go outside. What are we watching this week, Kieran?
This week we are watching Cinema Paradiso.
Cinema Paradiso.
And it came out in the year 1988. It is number 54 on the list.
So hopefully it might actually be good. So what do you think it's going to be about?
I'm really hoping that it's not in the rapey 80s. And, well, it is
in the rapey 80s.
Time-wise, yes, but I'm really hoping that there isn't too much of that stuff. I think it is going to be a story about a cinema called Paradiso. And I think it will be all about the wonderful actors and the crazy personalities that have been through there. It might instead be about the staff, the kooky staff that go in and out. I'm hoping it's going to be a comedy drama.
Okay. I think it's going to be a classico film.
Film.
Yeah, as in like it's going to be a homage to classic films. Maybe about, yes, a cinema in particular. I feel like, wait, where is it from, do we reckon? Cinema is it Paradiso?
Paradiso. Yeah. I reckon Paradiso is like supposed to be the Italian word.
Okay. I was thinking Spanish.
I don't know. Maybe it's the same word.
Okay. I reckon you hit a lot of the things I thought it could have been.
Could it be a cinema in actual heaven? What films would you play in heaven?
Maybe. Probably Elf.
Just on a constant loop.
Yeah, and
can you have
Forrest Gump?
You can't have horror films in heaven. I don't think so.
But what if you really like horror films?
This is what I'm thinking.
Are we believing in the concept that everyone's heaven is different, or is it all the same?
Well, is it even a cinema if it's just for one person?
Yeah, you can go to the cinema on your own.
Yeah, you can go to the cinema by yourself, but would it only be one seat?
Well, it doesn't have to be. It's heaven. Surely it can be whatever you want it to be.
Okay, I think if it's going to be a cinema, there should be a bunch of people. In which case, it's a heaven for everyone as opposed to a heaven for individuals.
Okay, well, I think this film is going to be about a secret cinema.
Oh,
in the hills.
Not underground.
Maybe underground. I mean, I can't. That's quite specific as to guess where, but I think it's going to be about a secret cinema. Okay, should we just go and watch the film?
Let's go watch the film.
Let's do it. And we're back with a couple of fast thoughts. Spain.
Italy.
No, Spain.
It's in Italy. Dude, it's in Sicily.
It's
Jordan.
It's Spanish.
It's Italian.
No, it's not.
How did you...
No, it's not.
What do you mean?
They speak Spanish.
No, they don't.
At one point, the woman says, "Mi amo," which means "my name is." So what, Kieran?
What
I know
if
very few things of other languages, and that is the only thing.
They mentioned Sicily so many times.
No.
Yes, they do.
No.
Yes, they do. Jordan.
No, it's set in Spain.
In Sicily. And because they all...
And it was like Air España.
No,
it was
it's
the
not.
plane.
It's Air Mediterranean. Do we even watch the same fucking film? For real, do we watch the same film?
Dora the Explorer, yeah?
Shut up. No, because there's a bit where the guy wins the football lottery, yeah?
Right.
And he's like,
he's from Naples, yeah.
Which is in, where, Jordan? Italy.
Spain.
Italy. And the other person's like, the northerners always... How have we fallen...
But they definitely said "mi amo." I thought that was Spanish. "Mi amo," Jordan.
I don't know how you say my name is in... How do you say my name is in Italian? Mi chiamo or something like that, right?
Mi chiamo.
It could just be the same thing, Jordan.
Okay, all right.
Anyway, Italy.
Spain.
No.
Cinema.
Father figures.
Mums.
Spitting on people.
Silent sisters.
Silent sisters.
Yeah.
Creepy filming people.
communities,
Fires.
towns,
Blindness.
public service,
Running away. Yeah, he
coming
did run.
back.
Oh, okay. I reckon he's got fake hair, so I'm going to say fake hair.
Mercedes.
What?
It drives a Mercedes right at the start of the film. I don't know why that bit stuck out to me so much.
Okay, and having loads of girlfriends.
Yeah. Let's just call it there.
Yeah.
Okay. So
We're going to do this thing, you guys. I want to say you guys, I mean you, the listener. Hi, my name's Kieran. How's it going? We're going to do this thing called 15-second pitch. And if you don't know what it is, then I'm about to tell you. And if you do know what it is, then you just have to put up with it anyway. What I do is in 15 seconds precisely, I try and sum up what happens in the film.
it's not strictly speaking a pitch, but it sounds
just sounds good.
Yeah, it's crisper to say it that way, isn't it?
15-second pitch.
15-second synopsis. You ready?
Yeah, I think I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, go.
There's a guy who finds out that his friend, who is like his mentor and his father figure, dies, and he relives his whole life growing up in the cinema that was in this little town in Italy. He goes back and he goes to his funeral, sees all of the old people, and he's like, "I'm sorry, I'll come back a bit more, Mum. Bye."
14 seconds, 0.22.
Fuck!
Yeah.
What you should also know, listeners, is that there's this thing called Jordan maths,
Yeah.
where if there is the second 0.8, then we round up.
We round up.
But if it is below that,
If
then
yeah. So normally with rounding, you round up from 0.5, but in Jordan math, you only round up from 0.8.
yeah, that was in order to give favor to if I go 15.7 seconds, then I still
Yeah, that's still
allowed
counts.
to be
Yeah,
15 seconds.
That's fine.
But it wasn't quite long enough this time. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't work the other way around.
Shit.
It's not. No, 14.2 is definitely 14.
Bollocks.
Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of what he does, though. In a way, it's the same as like Once Upon a Time in America.
Yeah.
How he's like, some people have died who are your friends from back home and whatever. So you should come back and relive your life. That's basically what happens in Once Upon a Time in America. Same thing happens in this film.
Yeah, it's kind of like just a long flashback.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
but
then,
it's more
and
chronological.
then he goes home.
Yes, that's exactly
And then
right.
he goes back again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because otherwise he's just left, isn't he?
Well, yeah, otherwise he's just in his hotel suite. Because it didn't look like his home. It looked like a hotel suite.
Should we give a little bit more of an explanation as to what happened in the film?
Do an actual synopsis?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay. We do start with we don't start with present day, do we? Or do
Nope.
we? No, we do. We do start with present day.
Oh, yeah, but
with
in Sicily.
our hero's mother calling him to let him know that the father figure Kieran mentioned earlier has now passed away.
I thought you were saying the father figure, Kieran, is in this film. Hello.
I'm struggling to remember people's names,
So you got the main character is called Toto.
but what is his actual name?
Salvatore De Vita.
Yeah.
And then you've got... I'm just really distracted by this note that I took. Right underneath where I wrote his name, I wrote huge lemons. Because when she's calling him on the phone, there's a bowl of the biggest lemons I've ever seen in my life.
The biggest lemons you've ever seen in your life?
Dude, these were fucking huge lemons.
Okay.
I've seen some quite big lemons, but these were the biggest lemons.
Was that not just because the camera was really close to them?
No. It was in the scale of like the rest of the kitchen table.
In the scale of the rest of the kitchen?
Yeah, it was in scale.
Surely everything is in scale.
I could see the size of the lemons versus the size of like the mum or the phone or the table, for instance. And I was like, those are some
But
damn...
what if she's a really small woman and they've used camera trickery? What if this is like a Lord of the Rings type deal?
I
where
don't
the
know what that
hobbits
is.
Are made smaller by Gandalf and Ian McKellen being close to everything.
So
I don't know.
So you're saying that Gandalf is in this Italian film in order for there to be really big lemons?
Yes. Obviously,
I
that's
just-
what I'm saying.
I just don't...
Yes.
Anyway, so she's trying to call him to say, by the way, Alfredo
That's it.
has
Chicken
died.
Alfredo.
What?
Chicken Alfredo.
He's trying to say al fresco, but
No, chicken Alfredo.
what is that?
That's definitely a food. So
Okay.
I made a joke about it later on, which is coming up, so you can look forward to that.
Okay, I look forward to that chicken Alfredo joke.
Okay, you go ahead. I'm
Wow.
gonna search chicken
Sick
Alfredo.
joke upcoming in about 23 minutes. So, all right, now she's like, you should come back or can someone please tell him that Alfredo died? And his sister's like, he won't remember. He's been gone for 30 years.
It's a pasta-based dish.
Thank you, chicken Alfredo.
Yeah.
Lovely, good to know. Thank you.
All right, so we're in Rome.
We're in Rome,
And when in Rome,
we will be with our girlfriends, and they will pick up answer phone messages.
what?
So, because he gets back, and she's all like, oh,
Right, yeah, sorry,
she's in
you're-
bed,
right,
and
making
his
a reference
girlfriend's
to the
like,
film.
your mum called, and she said that Alfredo died.
Is that really as far as we've got so far?
Yeah, that is as far as we got. So we got to fucking move somewhere. So Alfredo died, and he's like, yeah, it's nothing. Don't worry about it. Go back.
Can you
to
call
sleep.
him Alfredo, please? Because you keep calling him Alfredo.
No,
and
it's because in Portuguese you say Alfredo.
But he's not Portuguese.
I know it's not Portuguese, but it's not Alfredo. What do you say?
Alfredo.
Alfredo.
Yeah. That's how they said it in the film.
I'm just
Why
a bit.
would you do
I'm
it
just a little bit
Portuguese?
afraid of that way of pronouncing it, Jordan.
Why?
Huh?
Oh.
Okay, so Alfredo, he's died, and so we go flashback into his childhood.
Flashback.
And what happens is, he is a little kid. He's like, what? I'm going to say 5 years old?
Yeah, something like that.
5? He's an altar boy.
Yeah.
His dad is still away in Russia. And
In the army.
basically, he ends up finding out that his dad died.
Yeah.
Sad times. So it's just his mum. And after the church does its church thing, there's also a cinema projection at the back.
In a cinema.
Well, is it not in the church as well? It is in the church.
No, it's in the cinema.
It is in the church, Jordan.
Nope.
The church and the cinema are the same place.
No.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Because there's times where you see the projection going on from the back of the cinema,
Yeah.
and it goes past like different things of the Virgin Mary. Also, all of the seats are.
No, but there's just the Virgin Mary everywhere in this film.
No, because when the priest finishes his sermon and shit, and he goes back and he's like, Toto, you have to piss off because I'm about to do something. He's like, oh, can I stay with you? And he's like, no, I'm about to do something. He just walks out from the backstage area of the church or whatever.
Backstage.
I don't know what you call it, like the
green room.
The green room, yeah. You walk from the green room, and so Toto apparently pisses off home, but he did the past. You don't see the priest going into a cinema. You just see him going into just the main part, the congregation. You just see him sitting in the pews.
But it's called Cinema Paradiso.
Yeah, I know it's called Cinema.
Why would they call the church Cinema Paradiso?
Because it's both.
No.
I think it is,
No.
Jordan.
When it's just such a religious place, I feel like they would not call a church, the house of God, a cinema.
But
I feel like that would be too
But
offensive.
it's called Cinema Paradiso because it's paradise.
Yeah, well, it's paradise.
I think it's the same, Jordan. I think
Cinema
it's-
first, paradise second. Ooh, I don't know, mate. I think our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ might have some words to say about that.
Okay, well, why don't we phone him up later on in the show to see?
Hey.
Is that Jesus? So, Cinema Paradiso, I think the cinema and the church is the same place. But you think...
I think differently.
Okay, differently.
I got caught by my words.
Okay. Now, basically...
And I'm not afraid of
let's
it.
fucking press fast forward on this bitch because we have been slow motion for
Oh, yeah,
ages.
but it's fun, though. We're having fun.
Yeah, we are having a nice time, but I want to tell the goddamn story.
Okay.
So, you could just keep pulling me on tangents if you want, and we'll just...
I will.
Okay. So, Toto is like, all right, I'm in school and I'm having a good time. And your guy, Alfredo, is like, I'm dumb as hell. I just work the projection thing in the cinema. Toto, you should
yeah.
stay in school. What ends up happening is Alfredo gets help from Toto to sit some really basic exams. And in recompense, in exchange, there you go. In exchange, Toto's like, you got to teach me some stuff about the projection because I'm really, really into film and I like cinema and everything. And because my dad's gone, can you please be my father figure? I mean, he doesn't say that, but it's implied. Well, he doesn't say that, but like, you know, it's clear that he's the father figure in his life.
Well,
what do you mean? Well, that's the whole story. The whole story is like it's a dude's.
oh, he's a really top bloke, though, isn't he? He's just a good mate.
He is a top bloke, but he is doing a lot for specifically Toto, as opposed to everyone else.
Yeah, well.
Anyway, what happens is Toto learns loads about the cinema and shit, and they watch films, and you learn loads about the village, this little village in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. And it's good times.
Everyone's
Everyone's watching films. Everyone's getting really into the films. Films are getting better. There's like lots of new films coming out. Everyone's, the demand for films is getting bigger. And there's one particular night where there's such a demand for a film that they can't put on enough showings to get everyone in. Everyone's outside banging on the doors. And Toto and Alfredo look outside, and Alfredo's like, "Hey Toto, we give the people what they want, eh?" I don't know what that's.
Sick impression. Yep.
Pan-European. So then he does some trickery with the mirrors and reflections, and is able to cast the image onto a building outside. And then they move the speaker, and everyone's having a good time. Somehow they're like sort of showing the film outside and inside, which I don't really understand.
Yeah.
But
Another way either. But
then
science.
We
also, by the way, we should let you know that the priest, the reason why the priest went from the backstage green room area of the church into the congregation and there was no going between two different buildings is because what he does at that point is he watches the films before they are aired to the public so that Alfredo can cut out any of the kissing scenes because the priest calls it pornography.
Yeah, think of it as the censorship of movies and editing and modern editing.
Well, it's not just like modern editing. It's like the film's already out, but the film is out there for American audiences.
It's censorship then, isn't it?
Yeah, it is censorship. Yeah, by the Catholic Church.
Yeah, which probably still happens. Whoa. No.
Well, do you reckon in the Vatican they don't have certain films? Is there a cinema in the Vatican?
No, I'm saying like maybe the church does that still. Like maybe films are brought out and they're.
What do you reckon?
In some places,
there's a Twitter page, a Twitter account that's specifically like the church just saying Catholics don't watch this film. You're allowed to watch this film.
No,
can't watch this film.
No, like as in like editing the finals and the final edits.
Yeah, but we have like stuff like PG and Universal and but back in the day there wasn't that.
No, right. Well, let's just move on. So anyway, that's happening, and they're projecting it onto another building, and then. Whilst Toto has gone down, I keep wanting to call him Tito.
Why?
I don't know, because I don't know, like Michael Jackson.
I keep thinking about the dog from The Wizard of Oz. It's not the dog from Wizard of Oz. No, it's a kid.
It's a human being.
It's a human being.
Human being, a projectionist. And he goes outside, and whilst Alfredo is still projectioning, it catches on fire.
Projecting.
And it explodes and blinds him. What then happens is sort of like a little transition, and we see that Toto is now sort of running the projections. A guy who won the lottery rebuilds the Cinema Paradiso because it was burnt down.
Yeah,
and yeah, he's technically employed as the projectionist. So
even though he's like 6 years old or something.
Yeah, so Toto's just like running the shop, and Alfredo's still around. He's blind, but he's sitting there chilling and chatting with Toto, being like a wise old sage. So it goes on, and we see Toto grow into.
There are no movie theaters in the Vatican City. I've just been Googling.
Oh, okay.
Not a single one.
Yeah. We move on to Toto being a young adult, sort of late teenager, I think, something like that.
Yeah, I would say like high school.
Yeah, and he gets his first sort of love interest. There's a lady, and at this point now he's sort of doing films of his own. Like he's got a little camera, he's going around filming some shit.
But he's still being the projectionist.
But he's still being the projectionist. Yeah, everyone knows Toto is the projectionist, and he's starting to try and get this woman to fall in love with him. There's a few sort of awkward conversations, and then. Following a conversation that Alfredo has with Toto about a story where a knight stood out underneath a princess's balcony for 100 days and nights or whatever, and then left. He then says to her, he confesses his love to this lady, and she says she doesn't love him. He says, "That's fine, I'll wait." And he says that he'll stand outside her window every night until she opens her window, which will signal to him that she loves him. He does this, and we see a calendar transition sort of thing, and
It's been months.
Yeah, it's been months. She never opens her window. It's finally New Year's Eve, and she doesn't open her window. She goes to sort of do it, and then she closes it, and then he goes back to projectioning a film.
Mm-hmm. Projecting a film?
Projecting a film.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's wrong with me. And then she turns up and she's like, "Oh, yo, I love you now. Cool." And then they make out, and the film gets paused because he's not doing his job.
Because
He's kissing on the job.
How's that chip there, Jordan? Good?
Yeah, it's good. Oh, that hummus is spicy though.
Ooh, spicy dip. Okay, now moving on from spicy dip, let's dip into the rest of the synopsis.
Yeah, let's actually finish this thing.
Yeah, so he grows up and his girlfriend pisses off to Rome to go to university or something like that.
Bloody selfish.
Yeah, how dare she? So she's writing and he's sad and everything. There's a scene where he's running films in a different part of the city sort of during the summer so that everyone can see. Do you want to go ahead and eat that chip and dip? Okay, that sounded actually quite satisfying. Cool.
Mhm.
I can still hear you munching, Jordan, so we'll just keep going. Now, anyway, so we're watching this film, and of course we're watching this film. That's what this whole podcast is about.
God.
It's a film about films. That's why it's confusing. Anyway, so fucking Toto is running this film, and he's really, really sad because he's fucking lonely and whatever. It starts raining, and
she's back. She kisses him.
back, and they kiss in the rain, and it's really romantic and everything. He does military service for 2 years.
Yeah.
Fucks off.
And during that time, she disappears.
Yeah, can't get
Her
any
dad
word of
moves
her.
and she moves with him and he can't figure out where he is. He comes back home. Everything's changed. Alfredo's like, yo, listen here. You need to leave because there's nothing here for you and you're wasting your time being in this small town.
Don't write. Don't come back.
Fuck off.
Just fuck off.
Don't even think about us. So that's what he did. He did. And that's what he does.
That's what he
did.
did.
He does, and that's what he did.
That's
and
what
then
he
he
did.
comes back when Alfredo's dead, and he finds that it's all still the same, but everyone's old now, and things are broken. And then he's like, "Okay, well, I don't really know how I feel about this situation." And his sister gives him a film that Alfredo left to him, and when he plays it, it's all the clippings of all the kisses that
Sorry, Jordan's on a loop. So it's all the kissing that the priest wanted out of the films.
Yeah.
And Alfredo kept all of those scenes, and he put them all together in one big reel, so that I don't know, like I guess so that Toto could jack off or something. Or like,
yeah. And then so he's watching that in his own cinema.
Not jacking it, but just watching it.
But then then the credits roll.
By the way, they blow up Cinema Paradiso. It's like it's going to be turned into a car park.
And then the credits roll, and he straps on a rocket launcher and a boat and sails off into the sun.
That doesn't. Okay.
End of film.
Okay, end of film. Sure. All right.
Woo!
Coming straight out the gates here.
Yeah.
His hair, old man Toto. Well, not old man. I reckon he's like 56.
Old man Toto.
No, I reckon he's, I don't know, what, 46 or something like that?
Really? I thought I would have said older.
Okay, let's say he's 50 something.
Yeah, probably, to be fair.
I reckon his hair looks really, really fake.
That's like incredibly rude if it's not.
It just still looks fake though. I don't care.
Oh.
It looks super fake. It looks like Noel Edmonds' hair. That guy's got implants, you can tell.
Has he?
To me, it looks like...
Why are you so, concerned about people's hair?
Because I have none. And I feel like if you're... What I did...
Hair envy.
Yeah. Because I was like... I made the conscious decision to get rid of all my hair. Already, listeners, by the way, if you look on our Instagram, there's some pictures from, I don't know, a couple of months ago where I have very little hair. Now I've taken the conscious decision, to actively remove it all.
He is literally a shining paragon of no hair.
Of baldness.
Head to toe with not a single hair on him.
No, that's a lie. It's just...
No eyebrows. No teeth hair.
No. Okay. But instead all the hair's gone to my face, and so I have a beard.
Yes,
now.
migrated.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I had
A winter beard.
a winter beard
Or a
There you
winter rugged man.
go. Exactly.
A
So
rugged winter man.
and so therefore, I feel like when people have less hair, they should just have less hair.
Yeah,
and that's
just
okay.
embrace it. I think that's generally what most people would say to do, and yet most people don't do that.
Yeah.
Strange.
When the priest goes away from the backstage area into what I think is the main part of the church, and you think is the cinema.
Yeah.
There's this point where the Virgin Mary just apparently mystically opens the cupboard door.
Is that? I thought that was at his house or something, at Toto's house. But yeah, that was fucking weird.
It's just like out of nowhere. This just religious.
Right at the start of the film as well. I thought it was going to have some significance, but it's just like, oh, by the way, Christ.
Religious symbolism.
Yeah.
It was like really, really obvious. I was
there was a lot of religion.
It feels a bit out of place.
That actor though, the priest, like when he's watching the film, I know you're pretty emotive when you're watching a film, but who does that? Like pull in some. I've chosen a subject to talk about that's incredibly difficult to convey over an audio medium, but he pulls a lot of weird faces and strange sort of like gasps and stuff.
He really contorts his face.
Yeah.
He also so what he does is they're watching the film. Alfredo's in the box, and the priest is just like by himself watching it.
Yeah.
And he's got the altar boy's bell, and he rings the bell every single time that there's a part of a scene that needs to be cut out.
Yeah.
And what Alfredo does is he puts a slot of paper in the reel to remind him to look for that kissing scene.
Yeah. A nice little, I like that. That's a cool little original editing technique.
Yeah, but still he's got to troll through the whole fucking reel to try and find
Yeah, but imagine if he didn't have that. Imagine if he actually just had to look through all the reel, look at all of the frames and like, oh, that was it. Oh, I'm getting closer. I remember this bit happened just before it.
I feel like he has to do that anyway, because it's not as if he's like really super precise. It's not like it's not as it's
well, yeah, no, but it's
time
like
scale that I give you
gives you a rough idea, doesn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. There's loads of overdubbing, vocal overdubbing.
Was there?
Yeah, I noticed
Where?
it, and it was just like, why? It's not even in a language that I speak, and I can still tell it's overdubbed.
My issue in relation to language, when we're watching a foreign film, is it annoys me so much when text isn't put into subtitles. You know, like if you see a plaque on the wall and it's written in Spanish or in this case Italian, like
It depends though. It depends, because I can't remember if they did it in this film.
They didn't,
but
because there was things, and I was like, that looks like it's important. Like, you know, when a character, like, so say for example, a guy is running away from a monster, and it's a Spanish film. And he runs down a corridor and the camera pans over to a sign on a chain link fence that says in Spanish, beware, even scarier monster. Like, you would pan over to that, but you wouldn't know what it says, but it obviously looks significant. Like, it annoys me when subtitles aren't given for that.
Okay, I do think it's quite rare that subtitles aren't given for those particular circumstances. Because I don't know, I don't feel like we are very privileged as English-speaking people.
Yeah,
that we don't have to be dealing with that all the time. I'm sure if we
put a film on my TV, better make sure it's in my language.
Exactly. So I'm sure if we spoke to Spanish or Italian or French or whatever people, like basically anyone who didn't speak English all the time and were constantly watching overdubbed films, I'm sure they would have to deal with that loads more. I'm saying that the amount of films...
Yeah, but they're all right because they can read English because it's the greatest language that ever existed.
Oh, Jordan.
I'm only joking.
Okay. I'm just gonna keep rattling some off if that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that pissed me off was just
okay. No, then.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, let me just get one in edgewise. Like, this isn't the fucking Keiran show.
Okay, go.
Just the senseless beating of the child when he couldn't get the question right in the maths class. Just like, oh, you don't understand? Let me just hit you some more. That might help.
That works, doesn't it?
That's not... Well, I mean, good. I'm glad that we live in a society now where we recognise that beating children doesn't necessarily help them get better grades.
Not necessarily, no. But where's the proof, Jordan? Where's the proof?
Well, I think we have some more specialised teaching methods to use rather than just hitting people with sticks. And just banging his head against the wall. Like, that's what she was doing.
Yeah. Also,
that's not...
yeah.
That's not like a slap on the wrist. That's taking someone's head and smashing it against a wall. It was bruised.
Yeah, it was fucking bruised, man. Like, that was beaten up. That was scary.
That's assault.
Yeah, it really is. There was assault in schools. There really was.
It kind of makes you laugh, doesn't it? It's like you can hit a child as long as it's at school. It's fine. If you're the teacher, it's not assault.
But then also the parents...
You're helping them learn.
Also the parents are helping the kids be disciplined.
Yeah.
So where are kids not getting hit?
In the park.
By their friends, though?
Oh, no, but you got to just be hit by your friends in the park, aren't you, back in those days?
You just have to, don't you? It's a rite of passage.
Otherwise, you're a sap.
It's a daily rite of passage that you get hit in the face by your mates.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the past was just abuse. That's what we've summed up. Okay.
The past was abuse.
There's did you notice the random breastfeeder in
Yeah.
the cinema?
Just like
That felt like it had more context than the one in The Passion of Joan of Arc. Because the one in The Passion of Joan of Arc, it was like everyone is randomly everyone is watching this the person
death.
being the person being burnt at the stake, and you see all the different townspeople, and this
Yeah.
one woman's got a tit out.
Yeah.
In this one, it was like,
On that one though, it felt like it was more focused on the baby. Like the baby was sort of looking like the
Oh,
baby
in The
had
Passion of
more
Joan of
going
Arc.
on its face.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, hey man, I'm here. I'm a French baby. I don't even care about this execution.
Whereas this one, it was like, I'm an Italian woman, I'm breastfeeding
Yeah.
in the cinema.
I can't go to the cinema and breastfeed at home.
Exactly. Yeah,
Both in the
that
same
exact.
place.
And you had her, and then you had the couple that were shagging in the back of the cinema,
The fuck.
which is
I think what it did was it showed how the clientele of the cinema throughout the years became a little bit more open and a little bit more accessible and perhaps
no, because the one
comfortable.
where they were shagging,
Yeah.
before they went into the teen years, where there was like a room at the back of the
teen
cinema,
years.
the teen years, where there ended up being like some slightly naughtier films and people sneaking into the back of the cinema to get off with prostitutes. There was the couple who were boning when everyone else was there, and at the same time as there being the woman who was breastfeeding, and the kids who were just being silly or whatever, and the guy who was sleeping and stuff. So this was still during like the innocent times, and I reckon that couple, it might have been the only place of privacy they could have got to bone.
That's not a place of privacy though, is it?
Well, no, but let's say
It's a public cinema.
Let's say, okay, all right. Let's say in a fictional universe where I have a partner, Jordan,
Right.
like you and all the rest of my mates, we're going to the cinema, and I'm like, guys, you really got to help me bone, because, like, basically, she can't come over to my place, and I can't go over to her place because her dad is, all Catholic and everything, and my dad's all Catholic and everything, and they don't want us boning before we get married, but we really want to bone. There's nowhere private. Also, it'd be way too loud at either our places. But whilst the film's happening, so it's all good, right?
Yeah.
So can you do like at festivals where people make a little circle around someone who's having a piss? Yeah.
Yeah.
Make a little circle around me and my girlfriend so that we can bone.
Right.
Yeah. And then we'll just make sure that we bone during like the fight scene or something so that you can't hear anything. And jobs are good. We can bone. You guys just know about it, but just don't pay attention to
There's
it.
There's gotta be a better way. There's gotta be.
I don't know. Maybe they were just turned on by the ambiance.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a thing.
When there was the fire in the projection booth.
Yeah.
There was
Fire in the booth.
Nice. I just thought there was no fucking way that little Toto was pulling him down all those stairs.
No, and actually, this is one of my most annoying inconsistencies in the film. Straight away, Alfredo's legs are on fire. And then Toto comes in and he's just on the floor with the fire all around him and he is perfectly fine. Like you don't set on fire and then just be not on fire anymore.
Because
that's
also,
not how fire works.
The fireworks though.
Yeah, they were good, weren't they?
They were good.
There was about 2 of them.
I swear there were more fireworks at different points in the film. No, there were fireworks. There were a bunch more fireworks at the New Year's Eve.
Yeah, that was it.
More than 2. I'm going to say 4.
Maybe.
Anyway.
What was with the deal of them throwing stuff out the windows at that point?
Well,
as well?
it looks like a tradition that's passed over from Greece. Because Sicily...
Grease lightning?
No, not Greece lightning. Wrong time period. Greece.
Oh, okay.
Greece, the Mediterranean country.
Right.
How they throw
Is
plates.
this pre or post Peloponnesian War?
I'm going to say post.
Right.
Because
Okay.
I don't know when that is, but it sounds old. But anyway, was that even a war? Did you just make that word up?
Yeah, Peloponnesian War
Between
between Sparta and Athens.
Gonna take your word for it. So they're in celebration. Famously, traditionally, Greeks fuck off with the plates, just smash
Do
them on
they?
the floor. Yeah, that's a thing.
Oh,
That's a thing. And so I guess
fuck off with these plates.
Yeah.
I don't need them. Fuck off.
yeah. I mean, there's a whole thing of loads of cultures who like smash crockery and things in celebrations.
Why?
What do they do in like Jewish weddings and stuff? They smash the glass, don't they?
Why though? I've never understood it.
It's like, I don't know, like a big middle finger to IKEA or something. I
But,
don't know what the deal is.
Respect your things, you know.
Respect your things, but then also, or maybe I'll tell you what it is. In a wedding,
Yeah.
right? You've got 2 families, and they're both going to be providing crockery to the kids so that they can have their own house together.
Yeah.
But we both know, Jordan, that when two families worth of crockery comes together, you've got way too much stuff to
Right.
put in your cupboards. So you have disposable crockery, and what are you going to do with this stuff? Well, you can make a lot of noise and smash it all in the streets and stuff, so that you can dispose of your crockery in a celebratory way.
Yeah.
That's the idea. I think that's the reason why Jewish families smash glasses.
I think you've absolutely hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah, I smashed the glass on the floor.
There's no way that that's not right.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we do some bits and bobs?
Let's do some bits and bobs.
So when Alfredo became on fire, I just
Why are you laughing at that?
I made a note and I was like, now he's a spicy Alfredo.
Because the chicken Alfredo.
Yeah,
Is this the chicken Alfredo joke?
Because he's on fire, yeah.
This is the chicken Alfredo joke.
Well, it wasn't really a joke, I suppose. It was just a comment about him being chicken Alfredo.
Right.
Spicy is
Okay.
funny. Yeah.
That's a great. Cool. Good.
Right, I've got
Nice.
a question,
Oh,
Kieran.
okay. Go on.
So when he goes back to his room after 30 years and his mum's like, look, I've got all your stuff. I've left it out for
The
you.
fucking Toto shrine.
The Toto shrine to Toto. There's a bike.
Again, not the band or the dog.
No.
This is the guy in the movie.
I
Yeah.
forgot about the band. As if we haven't made more jokes about that already. No, I'm still trying to think of Toto jokes. He goes back to his room. And
You know,
I know
when-
this is a thing that people do. With the bike was hanging up. So it's hanging up this is a great way of saving space. It was hanging up from the ceiling.
It is a great idea.
On a hook kind of thing
Yeah.
from the front wheel.
Yeah.
If that had been there for 30 years, would that have bent? Would that no longer be working in some way? I always think about this sort of thing, the way that gravity has an effect over time. Surely, like, things eventually buckle because there's just like consistent pressure. Does it always retain the same amount of strength? Or does time erodes all, doesn't it?
It really
in
does.
many ways.
I think it depends the way it was hung up. I can't really picture it. If you hang it from the frame, I reckon the bike would still be fine. If you hang it from the wheels, I think you're onto something.
See, that's what I'm saying, right? So it wasn't necessarily, I think it was hanging from the wheel, but what I was thinking was that it would bend the bit where the wheel was connected to the frame.
Yeah.
Because it feels like a lot of pressure's
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
You've got the whole weight of the bike just on that one little sort of joint.
But I guess we're not going to know because he didn't try riding his bike.
No, I just want to know though, would that bike be fucked now?
I don't think it'd be completely fucked. I think it might be a little bit wobbly. It, definitely take it to cycle surgery for a general service. That's for sure.
Cycle surgery or Halfords.
Or any of those good independent bike shops.
Yeah.
Take it to any of those places. It's totally fine. I should ask my granddad. My granddad's proper into bikes. And
Is he?
Yeah. He still cycles now. He's had like chemo. He's had a double heart bypass or whatever the fuck.
Right.
And he still goes out on his bike.
A real velophile.
Nice.
Thank you.
Very nice. Yeah. He gets on his velocipede and he's off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's on it. So, but what I'm saying
He's
is
always.
he's not literally.
It's literally, he's got those shoes, so he can't take his feet out. Stuck now.
Has to cycle down the stairs to go for breakfast.
Yeah.
Cycling back up them to get to in the shower.
It's a workout.
It's a real hassle. He
You've
has
got to get a shower that you can fit a bike in
well, he has to de-rust it every single day.
whilst on the bike.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Jesus. Oh,
Probably
what a
shouldn't.
hassle.
Anyway.
But he's got loads of random bike stuff in his shed.
Right.
And I wouldn't be surprised if like all of that is going to end up.
Has he got a spare helmet?
I'm gonna say yes. But
Has he got a spare chain?
oh, for sure, yeah.
Has he got spare brakes?
I'm gonna say 60%.
Has he got brake fluid?
Probably, yeah.
Has he got... How many cans of WD-40 did your granddad have?
About 3.5.
3.5?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Not one of the small ones. I mean, like, he's probably just got a spare lying around. There's probably one that he uses consistently, and he ends up still buying more. But if you just dug around in a cupboard or something, there'd probably be more.
Oh. You know, they never patented WD-40 because if they did that, they'd have to release the recipe. Recipe is not really the right
Oh,
word.
really?
But yeah. So, because like they keep it a secret. So yeah. So, but if they patent it, then they would have to make that public.
What about KFC though?
You can probably find it out, I imagine. It's probably not that much of a secret.
Well,
12 herbs and spices. I mean, how many herbs and spices is there that they're going to be using? Let's be honest. So. It's probably not that hard to figure it out.
I guess so. Moving on.
Yeah.
Did you notice that how at the start of the film?
Yeah.
Before anything...
That was when I was paying the most attention to the film, so it's likely.
Okay, good. There's just loads of Italian writing.
And it's like the credits.
It's talking about all their awards.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, that's what it is.
I was wondering what was... This is prime example of subtitle the words that are on the screen. I have no idea what's going on.
I had to specifically select to have subtitles on the film. And when I did that, every single Italian word was in. But all of those Italian words, they were all the accolades that the film had received. Yeah. So it was kind of like, hey, you guys, this film's going to be fucking sick.
Just strap yourself in,
just
mate.
Watch it because it got really shouted about.
We do not fuck about down here in Spanish Italy.
Sicily is what it's called.
Maybe that's what it is.
I don't know.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe Sicily is just Spanish Italy.
Sicily is on the
Spitaly.
Is on the lower, it's like southeast. Basically, is where Sicily is.
Yeah.
Whereas, that's like on the wrong side. If it was on the western side, then that's closer to where Spain is.
You're talking to a person who, for years, thought that there was another side to the map of the globe.
Let's unpack that a little bit, Jordan. Okay, so
you know when it's flat?
Yeah.
You know the square, the rectangular image of the globe, the world, everyone knows. Yeah. I thought that was just the front half of the world. And I thought there was the back bit. So it's just another picture. There's another half
that you just never got told about.
I was really sad when I found out that was wrong, because obviously the world literally got half as big.
Here's my question, Jordan.
Right.
When you'd see a globe, an actual globe.
Yeah. See, whenever I tell this, that's the first thing people think.
So what did you think?
I don't really have an answer for you. All I can think is that, because I mean, this idea was shattered about the age of 8, so it didn't last very long. When you saw a globe. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Maybe then I do remember some sort of confusion. I'd see a globe and I'd be like, what is... But when you see a globe, right, you don't see all of it, can you? Because you can't physically look at all sides of a globe in one go.
Yeah, but you're also not like a dog. Like you can look at something and remember that it's still there when you turn it around, and that it's just on the other side. You understand perspective way more than like a basic animal.
Well, but maybe my understanding of perspective isn't as good as you imagine it is.
Yeah, but I know you now, Jordan.
Yeah, I've come a long way.
You really? Oh, okay. Is this what we're saying?
Maybe.
Wow, what a transformation. That's.
I know.
Maybe in like 10 years' time, you'll be as clever as Stephen Hawking or something.
Maybe. If this is anything to go by, the progression that I've made
if you
is
keep
incredible.
Up this, like the... I'm picturing...
What's the word?
I was going to say correlation.
Exponential.
Nice.
Thank you.
If you keep up this exponential growth, you're going to be... See, you've already said these really fancy words, and I'm going to
Check me out and my brain thoughts.
I'm going to be struggling to keep up with you.
Yeah.
Thinking it was fucking Spain. Okay.
Wow. Just had to put me back in my place, didn't you?
I wish I could watch a film in a cinema.
You can.
Like the... Oh, problem solved. Next one. No, like they did back in the day.
Yeah.
Because they're all sitting there and they were like, hey, happy! or I did Italian.
There are cinemas like that, though, I swear. So when we were talking about The Room the other day.
No, Room.
Yeah, no, but we were talking about the film The Room.
Sorry, yeah.
I know there's from another podcast I listened to, they talk about there's a cinema that does a viewing of The Room regularly, and people all go there and they do things like that, like they all throw popcorn and stuff like that at the same time, and stuff like that, and stuff like that, and stuff like that.
Oh, okay, good. Because there's like, you can go for different viewings where it's like, this is a sing-along viewing, or this is one for...
I would fucking hate that.
I'd fucking love that.
Yeah.
Or you can go for viewings where it's like...
Unless it's Sweeney Todd.
Because you do like Sweeney Todd.
I would love that.
So there's ones where... So there's the sing-along ones, and there's also for specifically for people with autism, or specifically...
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's cool.
What happens in that?
Well, basically... People might feel uncomfortable bringing their autistic kids to, I guess, a mainstream viewing, because they know that their kid could say something, or they could have a reaction to something that would be different to mainstream audiences.
So is it just more that just people? It's like nothing is different about the viewing. It's it's specifically for people with autism so that they feel comfortable and parents feel comfortable bringing them there because everyone else there is going to understand.
Exactly. The same way that there's also ones for like parents with babies and stuff.
Right. Is
So-
there viewings for cool guys like myself? Where it's just like only cool people can go?
I just left a little space for you to say and you after you say myself, but I mean, I guess there is, Jordan, but clearly I haven't been privy to those invitations. Maybe if you keep working on being a cool guy, maybe if I work even harder to be a cool guy, I'll end up getting that invite.
I think that's kind of the thing though, Kieran, isn't it? If you work at it, that's the opposite, isn't it? You just be cool.
Well, maybe if you
Everyone knows to be cool, you have to not try.
Maybe if you just, I guess if you be more, then you'll get the
There you
invite.
go. Now you're getting it.
Be more.
I literally already think you're cooler.
Because I'm being more.
No, see, now you're thinking about it and you're trying to work it out.
Okay, I'll just have to be then.
No, you've done the damage now.
Okay, there's no going back. The part where there's a really sexy point in a film where there's like people kissing, or it's like, oh, it's a Bond film. It's a Bond film.
Right.
And there's the figure of the Bond woman.
Oh, is that what it is?
I mean, it looks to me like a Bond film.
Right.
It sounded like a Bond film.
But it's a breakfast cereal.
What? If it looks like a Bond film, if it sounds like a Bond film, you've got a Bond girl and you've got someone who looks like a spy.
Yeah.
It's probably a Bond film. Because it wasn't quite this melody, but there was a little bit of in the background.
Right.
So I was like, okay. But anyway, there was the front row with just guys just jacking it. Like
That's just not on. That is just not on.
I found it hilarious, but just gross at the same time.
No, you do not do that. You don't do it.
I was just like, that could never happen.
It just couldn't.
No.
But can't
clearly
imagine
it
just
did-
like going down to your local Cineworld, fucking seeing
this screening is specifically for
Casino
people masturbating.
Royale as she steps out of the shower and like just fucking lads in the front row, just like you just hear the silent.
Ah, Jordan, you don't have to make the sound effects. Like you don't have to. Yeah. So the bloody Toto, after he doesn't quite get rejected, but he's waiting to go. He's waiting for his girl.
Yeah.
Right, and then he goes back to the cinema.
Yeah.
Doesn't he? And he walks to the cinema on New Year's.
Yeah.
And everyone's throwing plates out the window as previously discussed.
How did he not get hit?
Right, the wrong fucking day to walk
So
anywhere.
blasé as well. He's just strolling down, like, well, I mean, you
Death
know,
by porcelain.
I
and
probably won't get hit.
That's the way it goes.
Chances of getting struck by plates are
Very high.
so slim.
We got
Got more chances of getting struck by a glass.
welcome
Don't
to
know, let's go
the
with that one.
BBC weather forecast. We've got light sprinkling of glass and heavy saucepans. No, not saucepans. Heavy saucers.
Yeah.
Heavy saucers raining down in Sicily. So heavy saucers in Sicily. Scorchio.
Yeah.
Okay. Ennio Morricone was the composer.
Yeah. And he did.
Once Upon a Time in the West and Once Upon a Time in America.
Yeah. But there wasn't that, was there? There was no.
There wasn't that either. But what there was some classic clarinet from Ennio Morricone. think he
I
loves
liked
it.
the music. I thought the music was really
Yeah,
good.
I thought it was cool. There were some definite recurring themes, but
yeah,
it wasn't
got a
as
bit
in-
repetitive, but yeah, it was
I think
nice.
that's kind of his trademark, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have four themes,
Here is a theme for this person and this situation.
and it will come back.
Here you go.
Exactly.
You know what you're getting with him.
Loves a flashback film,
Safe.
doesn't he? Loves a flashback film.
Yeah.
That's kind of his that's his deal. All right, I'm all done.
Okay, so who would you want to be?
I'd be the school teacher, maybe not abuse kids.
Okay.
That's kind of
How does that affect the film?
I think it allows for a steadier learning environment
Right.
in which
What did we even gain from that scene, though, really? Just that Toto was a helpful child.
and he had friends.
Right.
I guess that's kind of it.
Yeah.
Because also, isn't it that kid who does the peddling of he peddles the Act 1
Yeah, I think so.
of the film.
He also
there's
beats
another
Toto
part of
up
the
later
film,
on
isn't
as well.
there? What do you say?
He also beats Toto up. Well, he doesn't beat him up, but he hits him because Toto is also hit him.
What?
When they're chasing after the girl and
Oh,
Toto
yeah,
pushes
yeah.
him to the floor.
Basically, it's like the start of their friendship. That's what I think it
I
is.
guess, yeah.
So you see how their friendship evolves.
So how is you not beating that child going to affect the film? I don't think you're going to have a massive impact.
I mean, we've never spoken that directly about how...
That's kind of the point of it, though. It's supposed to be a person and sort of change the film a little bit. I think we've lost our way a little bit, so I'm just trying to drag us back to it.
Like, okay, fine. Okay, so what I would do as the teacher, not abusing... I think I would just kind of like... at the same time as you... Oh, because there was a subtext of like it being post World War II, wasn't it?
Right.
And Italy coming out of this fascist government still didn't like communists and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of change in policies, I guess.
Yeah.
I would be that teacher, and I would be the first school to implement in Italy a no violence policy, right?
Right.
And so you just saw at the background of other scenes, you would see posters of like, "Don't beat your child," you know, stuff like that, and you know, maybe like when he's getting the plane from Rome to Sicily, there's also that teacher again, and she's in first class because she's like the head of a government initiative across the whole of Europe.
Did you just become a robot for a second there?
Yeah, well, I was just thinking about it, and
become the head of
that's just the way I could process
an initiative.
Yeah, I think that's probably me.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I would do. Who would you be?
I would be. I can't even remember her name, which is bad. His love interest, the lady.
That is bad.
Yeah, should probably know her name. Well, you didn't know the name of the teacher, I suppose.
Yeah, but the teacher's in it for like all of about 5 seconds.
She's probably got a name, Kieran.
Well, she probably does, but she's
everyone
not the
has
love
a
interest
name.
in the film. What was the name of the guy who won the football lottery? Huh?
George.
No, he wasn't. Okay.
Yes, it was.
Who would you be? You'd be the love
George
interest.
Armani.
What would you do?
What? So I would go against my dad and stay with Toto. She's obviously like quite bright, and I know she went obviously off to university, but she came back. And why is she not like? Why did she not stick around or make some sort of effort to still be contactable or find, like, you know, it doesn't take much, does it, to make sure that Toto could find her again?
So she could have stayed on the grid. That's probably
basically. I wouldn't just become Jason Bourne and like disappear into the dust.
We don't know how hard it would have been back in the day to kind of.
Yes, we do, Kieran.
We don't, Jordan.
It would be 7 times hard.
But they didn't have Facebook back in the day, did they?
No, but she knew his family, and the whole town knows Toto. Like, she could have told anyone.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Literally anyone.
She did say fuck off to that whole town.
Yeah.
When she left.
So I'd do that, and then I think that would then probably, to be fair, it would probably stop Toto from leaving in the first place. Stop him from becoming a star. But I feel like towards the end we see that maybe Elena. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if he's necessarily happy. You know, there's a point where his mum says, every time I call you, a different woman would answer, but I can tell in their voices that none of them ever like truly loved you.
Yeah, he clearly isn't happy. I feel like he should be searching for her.
And yeah, I really feel like that should not have been how it ended for him. He should have, well, not that he died, but, you know, like, I feel that. And also, why has she not sought him out now? Like, if he's obviously that big a star, everyone knows his name, he's got loads of money and riches. Why? Yeah, you know, why is she not sought him out? Anyway, so that's who I'd be.
Cool.
Who would you bring in?
I would bring in Prince.
Okay.
You know, during the really romantic kissing in the rain, just have him singing "Purple Rain" during that scene.
So you wouldn't have Africa playing?
No. I feel like there was other rain in other parts of the film where there could have been. Yeah, there's other points where that could have come in, but Purple Rain, like, so like the point where they started kissing. Purple Rain.
Yeah,
that would have been good.
Yeah, that would have been good. Just for that one little kicker.
Yeah, and then that's it.
Yeah, kind of goes away, breaks away from the original score, doesn't it?
Well, that's okay. Yeah, as if Ennio really.
All this like really old, nice violin and cellos, and just like Purple rain.
Or maybe like a motif on the violin. It would have been a nice little homage.
That was my impression of Prince. That bit.
Yourself, Jordan, who'd you bring in?
I can't remember what his name is. Gino from Life is Beautiful.
I thought you were going to say Gino D'Acampo. But
I don't know who that is.
Gino D'Acampo, the Italian chef on like This Morning or whatever.
Okay, no.
Okay, anyway.
And just have him cook up an omelette, a 5-second omelette.
No,
No, I'd be Gino from Life is Beautiful, the dad. I'm pretty sure it's Gino.
No, is it not Joseph or something?
No, that's the son.
No,
Jezza.
Just Jesua. Jesua is the
Okay,
the son.
but it's not Joseph.
Okay, what did you say the name was?
Gino.
I'm not. Okay, keep going.
Well, anyway, so I'd be him. I'd bring him in. Maybe have him play. It'd be cool to have him like the mayor of the town or something like that. You know, just a character in there. That's
Guido.
Gino, close. Come on.
Not bad.
Or maybe have him play the priest. That would be quite funny.
That would be
because
funny.
the priest was kind of like almost like a comic relief character in quite a few places.
Yeah, but
he's quite silly.
I think Guido would like a couple
Ramp
more.
it up.
Well, no, I just think that he'd like a few more tits than the priest would.
Maybe, yeah.
So I don't think he'd do the priest's job the same.
Yeah.
At all.
Well, anyway, I'd have him in it because I think he was a great actor. He was a lot of fun to watch.
Oh, for sure.
And yeah, this film definitely could. It had a lot of light-hearted characters in it, so I think he would fit in there quite nicely. I think it would be just nice to see some more of him.
Beautiful.
And yeah.
Nice one.
So would you stay indoors for this film?
I would stay indoors. I'm going to say but, though. I would stay indoors, but I don't think it deserved to be 56 on the list.
No.
I was like, cool.
I think by now we have definitely established that this list is not in the right order.
No. And I think at some point we're going to be asked to put them in order, which I'm not looking forward to doing.
Yeah.
But in any case, I was like, sure, I get it. It's still a fucking good film, so you should still watch it. But it's like, all right, it didn't like blow my whole life away. It wasn't nearly as good as Life is Beautiful, but it was still good though.
See, I feel like what I said in the prediction that this film would be like an homage to a classic film. There was a lot of clips of classic films and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think that I could see how a lot of the people that would contribute to making the list on the 250 list would be the type of people that would nut off of this. Yeah. You know, so I think that's maybe why it's at that level. I'm going to say don't stay indoors. I'm going to say go outside.
Oh, okay.
Because to be honest, film didn't really change my life. It really did. It was a bit of it's another one of those ones where I just feel like I don't feel better or worse off for seeing it. I just feel like I've just sat down for 2 hours and
I did feel quite neutral, and I was turned off by the all of the scenes of old man Toto in his hotel room just reminiscing.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, remember we're still in a flashback.
Yeah, that's just a fucking easy day in the acting office on set. Sorry. Yeah, it's a fucking easy day on set when you just have to lie in bed just looking nostalgic.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I enjoyed the connection between Alfredo and Toto.
Yeah, they were the best bits, definitely. The conversations between Toto and Alfredo. But other than that, I don't know. Yeah, not that much going on.
If you want to find Cinema Paradiso online, you can rent it from Amazon Prime.
Or just Amazon. But yeah.
Well, yeah. Amazon Prime Video. That's the one.
That's the one.
All right. Next week, we're going to be watching Spotlight. That was, really good sound effects for Spotlight.
Thank you.
Very nice one. Thank you. And if you want to watch Spotlight before we do, or if you want to watch it ahead of next week's episode so that you can be making comments at the same time as us.
Yeah. You can go back in time and watch it on Netflix when it was on Netflix.
Or you can hire it from YouTube Video.
Yeah. And if you wanted to go back and see what films we said we liked and what we didn't, there's now a section on our Podbean site for that, if you wanted to have a look.
Sweet. Jordan spent loads of time.
And then it didn't let me do the thing that I wanted to do, so what it is actually quite basic. But
hey, don't do yourself down, man. It's still really cool.
Well, that's okay.
I think it's good.
But yeah, if you were just curious, you wanted to see what we'd said so far that was good and what was not, you can go on there and you can just click on the link next to it and it'll take you to the episode.
So let's just say you don't know what to watch when you're scrolling through Netflix. You're like, oh,
that's a double ticker.
I wonder what these two dickheads said. let's find a film where there's 2 ticks next to it, so that it says that Jordan and Keiran both enjoyed it. Let's go watch that film.
Or if you want to watch one of the ones that we thought was absolutely shit,
so that you can be angry as well.
Yeah.
Then that works as well.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Well, I guess we'll see you next week.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Kieran, think fast.
Thinking.
Is that what you do?
Yeah. No, just panic.
Yeah.
I realized.
So you can listen to us at 250 Reasons on Facebook. It's Twitter. On the old Twitter, if you turn your dials to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Podbean, YouTube, I've mashed it up, Kieran, and also at 250 Reasons on Facebook. And
send a telegram to
send a telegram to 250 reasons at gmail.com.
And check out previous episodes of this show.
And leave a 5-star review if you thought it was good, or if you thought it was bad, or if you thought anything, if you've got some stuff to say. So
if you're at all conscient, if you even have a pulse,
if you are sentient and you are listening to this, leave
a 5-star review. It's as simple as that. Okay, bye.
Bye.